the Oscars. So, the Oscars are an award show that happen once a year, every March, and they are arguably the most anticipated award show. There are multiple categories, but I say there are 6 main ones. That is supporting actress, supporting actor, lead actress, lead actor, best director, and best picture. And best picture is what I'm going to be focusing on in this. So every year there are 10 movies up for best picture, and the nominees are Barbie, Oppenheimer, Maestro, Past Lives, The Holdovers, American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. This year, on January 23rd, I don't know if it's January 23rd every year, but it's late January, the Oscar nominations came out. And this Sunday, March 10th, today is March 7th, is the Oscars. And for the past 3 years, every year, I try and watch every Best Picture nomination before the Oscars, so I can have an actual opinion and not be upset that the one picture that I watched didn't win, because there could be better ones. The nominations and where to watch them. So at this point in time, the ones that I have watched within the last week are Barbie, which is available on Crave, Maestro, which is available on Netflix, The Holdovers, which is available on Prime, Killers of the Flower Moon, which is available on Apple TV, and Poor Things, which is not available anywhere. I had to go to the theaters to see it. By the time I'm recording this video, there's about 3 more hours until American Fiction and Anatomy of a Fall become available on Prime, and The Zone of Interest is not available anywhere. I will have to buy it. But I thought I would watch all these so you don't have to. Okay, we have American Fiction, directed by Cord Jefferson, starring Jeffrey Wright, Sterling K. Brown, and Issa Rae. The synopsis is: Monk is a frustrated novelist who's fed up with the establishment that profits from black entertainment that relies on tired and offensive tropes. To prove his point, he uses a pen name to write an outlandish black book of his own, a book that propels him to the heart of hypocrisy and madness he claims to disdain. This movie, my favorite. I think, yeah, my favorite out of all the ones I watched. Issa Rae, this was her year. So many movies. This movie was funny, like actually funny. Like, it was a comedy, drama. In the beginning, some things happened, and I wish they were a little bit more serious in the beginning, just so we could see how much it hurt the characters. And also, they have a weird way of talking, and I think it's between the brothers mainly to prove that they're educated, and to prove that they're worthy, I think. But it was really weird, like, the way they refer to some things. But yeah, this movie, I do not believe will win, unfortunately, but very, 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 very funny and very good. Touched a perspective that I've never thought about. So yeah, opened my mind, which is great. On to the next. Okay, we got Anatomy of a Fall, directed by Justine Triet, starring Sandra Hüller, Milo Mikado Grainer, and Swan Arlad. The synopsis is: a woman is suspected of her husband's murder, and their blind son faces a moral dilemma as the sole witness. I'm gonna speedrun this because the Oscars are today. I'm filming this one, I think is first on my list, but I'm filming this literally like third last. Okay, so I really like the film style. It's like a documentary, but it's a movie. Like, it feels like a documentary though. Spoiler, jump. know, like 15 seconds ahead if you don't want to hear it. I don't think that the wife killed him. Or I do think the wife killed him, but we never find out. It's an odd genre for the Oscars, a murder mystery. Or it's not even a murder mystery. But, like, yeah, French film, love. And, yeah, I was questioning the whole time, wondering what actually happened. Very good. On to the next. Okay, we are starting off with a banger. First one we have is Barbie. Directed by Greta Gerwig. We have Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, America Ferrera, a million amazing actors. This was a star-studded movie. I didn't actually film my reaction to this one, but let me give you a quick synopsis from Google. Barbie and Ken are having the time of their lives in the colorful and seemingly perfect world of Barbie Land. However, when they get a chance to go to the real world, they soon discover the joys and perils of living among humans. I understand the hype about this movie. Totally understand why this movie was so hyped up, because it is an amazing film. I do not believe that Barbie will be winning Best Picture this year. Sad to say, but I do not believe it will be winning Best Picture. This movie is very Truman Show-esque. Going into it, I believe that was gonna be like the Truman Show, and it is. It's not the Truman Show, but at the beginning of it, it does have that feel. I didn't like when Greta Gerwig broke the fourth wall. I don't like when we broke the fourth wall. That threw me out. I was like, oh, okay. I'm not gonna rate these movies because they are all amazing. 5 stars to all of them. But yeah, I do not believe Barbie's gonna win, but it does deserve to be nominated. On to the next movie. Hello. The next movie that I've decided to discuss is Killers of the Flower Moon, directed by Martin Scorsese and starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Lily Gladstone, Robert De Niro. The synopsis, provided by Google. Real love crosses paths with unspeakable betrayal as Molly Burkhart, which is Lily Gladstone's character, a member of the Osage Nation, tries to save her community from a spree of murders fueled by oil and greed. This was a good movie. I did not rewatch it. It is 3.5 hours, first off, and second, I actually do not have an Apple TV subscription. So I watched this one in theaters when it first came out, and it is the only one on this list that I did not rewatch. Noted, this is based on a real story. It is a very dragged out film. Very good, very dragged out. 3.5 hours. There are some parts that just don't need to be in there. Granted, I think the shortest he could have cut this movie to is 3 hours, because he wanted to portray the real story, get as much as he could in there, and there is just so much going on. This could have been split into 2 movies, if I'm gonna be honest. I think that it could win Best Picture. And it deserves to be nominated, of course. But I think that this is what the Academy does typically look for in movies. On to the next film. Next on the chopping block is Maestro, directed by Bradley Cooper, starring Bradley Cooper himself, Carey Mulligan, and Maya Hawke, and much more. Synopsis provided by Google. On the verge of securing a golden opportunity, American conductor Leonard Bernstein begins a tumultuous relationship with actress Felicia Montealegre, upturning their lives. I watched this one yesterday, actually. So I watched this, and then I went and watched Past Lives right away. So this movie has really good transitions. Like, one thing I noted was their transitions, real good. He had this one where he like throws a curtain and it transitions into a bed sheet. That was really cool. I like the use of the size of the screen. When it's in present day, it's full screen, and as we go on, it starts black and white, goes to in color, all that. Very La La Land-esque, which is a really good movie. But I also got Whiplash vibes, and like, I love movies about obsession. Yeah, it was very fast-paced, and yeah. However, I also do not believe that this one will win Best Picture. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I do not believe that this one will win Best Picture. It's just not, it doesn't speak to everyone the way that a Best Picture film would. And it just didn't engage me the whole time. But again, very deservingly of being nominated. We have notes on this one. The big one, Oppenheimer. Winner of all awards so far this season, and the most likely contender of winning the Oscar. Directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Robert Downey Jr., a million more. There's so many people in this movie. Quick synopsis is during World War II, Lieutenant General Leslie Groves Jr. appoints physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer to work on the top-secret Manhattan Project. Oppenheimer and a team of scientists spend years developing and designing the atomic bomb. Their work comes to fruition on July 16th, 1945, as they witness the world's first nuclear explosion, forever changing the course of history. I actually didn't mind this movie. I don't understand why it was black and white, because for the other ones, there were 2 other ones that started in black and white. 2 or 3, 2. And I understood, like, show the passage of time, and I don't understand why this one was black and white. One of my friends wrote down, Iron Man and Peaky Blinders make bomb. Write that down. This movie is not. I am not the target audience for this movie. It was very intense, very long. But I'm definitely not the target audience of this movie. I do believe it is the most likely contender of winning the Oscar, though, because men. Yeah. I don't know. It wasn't. I didn't watch this movie and think it was way better than the others. There's one thing that I want to point out, but yeah, it wasn't. They were all good. All the movies are good. This one is a good movie. All the others were good. I lost all the footage I had of this one, but Past Lives, directed by Celine Song, starring Greta Lee, T.O.U., and John Magaro. On the synopsis, Nora and Hae-sung, 2 deeply connected childhood friends, are wrestled apart after Nora's family immigrates from South Korea. Decades later, they are reunited for one fateful week as they confront destiny, love, and the choices that make a life. I love how it started. I think it was really aware of itself. I didn't realize it wasn't fully in English, so I went to go do something, and then I was like, oh, I actually have to read this. And the emotions were very, very human and very raw, and like we never really explored jealousy or anything like that, so I really liked that. However, I do not believe that it will win just because it was too aware of itself. Like, it was, I don't know, it wasn't as rah in your face as other nominees are. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but they just weren't as in your face, and for that reason I do not believe it will win. On to the next movie. Okay, so the next one I watched was Poor Things. I watched it right after I watched Maestro. Directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, starring Emma Stone, Willem Dafoe, Mark Ruffalo, many others. The synopsis. Brought back to life by an unorthodox scientist, a young woman runs off with a lawyer on a whirlwind adventure across the continents Free from the prejudices of her times, she grows steadfast in her purpose to stand for equality and liberation. I think I said it wasn't available anywhere. It is available on Disney+. This movie, it's like, I googled it and it's known as the weird movie. It's a weird movie, and I can't say anything without spoiling it, except, oh, this might even spoil it, but a very niche movie called The Lobster. I was getting those vibes. I felt the same thing watching The Lobster that I did watching Poor Things. Very, very visually appealing movie. Very visually appealing. Where they're human and they're like us, but that has never happened in human. Like, we are not at all like that society we see in the movie, but it's there. She's in real life locations, but it's not real life. I've never seen anything like this movie. There's no way to describe this movie and get it right on the nose. So I do recommend this movie. I recommend that you watch this movie completely. Very visually appealing. On to the next movie. The next movie is The Holdovers, directed by Alexander Payne, starring Paul Giamatti, Dominic Sessa, and Carrie Preston, and more. An instructor at a New England prep school, boarding school, remains on campus during Christmas break to babysit a handful of students with nowhere to go, also known as holdovers. He soon forms an unlikely bond with a brainy but damaged troublemaker and with the school's head cook, a woman who just lost her son in the Vietnam War. So my thoughts on this video, the notes I took, I love how it was shot. I love the camera they used, or what the filter something was it appealed to me a lot. This movie actually made me teary-eyed at points, which I don't usually cry in movies, and this one got me a little bit. So it's, yeah, a very heartfelt movie. Last movie. I thought I was done. I'm not. The Zone of Interest, directed by Jonathan Glazer, starring Sandra Hüller, again, Rudolph Haas, or Christian Friedel as Rudolph Haas, and Mary Rosa Tietjen. I think. This is just the cast as it comes on Google. Synopsis: the commandant of Auschwitz, Rudolph Haas, and his wife Hedwig strive to build a dream life for their family in a house and garden next to the camp. This movie was bizarre. It was filmed like Midsummer. They used a variety of shots, but what I mean from like Midsummer, it's just like shots from way over here of people just walking, if that makes sense. But yeah, no. Watch it. Ending. I jumped. I was like, whoa, what's the... Very, very weird. So yeah, that's the end of the movies I watched. I finished. I finished. That was a lot of movies. And I don't know why I waited so long until the day before to do them. Like, literally, the Oscars start in 39 minutes. But anyways, I think my predictions, most likely Oppenheimer will win Best Picture. Might be Killers of the Flower Moon. I sure hope it's Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm pretty sure Lily Gladstone will win Best Actress. Much, much deserved. I also think that, I'm really bad with her name. Sandra Hüller, I think she also deserves to win Best Actress for Anatomy of a Fall. Not necessarily Zone of Interest, just because barely talking scenes. But yeah, I think it will most likely be Oppenheimer. I really hope it's Killers of the Flower Moon, because that was a long movie that I actually kind of like, I don't know, I understood it more, spoke more to the audience. Yes, it was dragged out, but it was, yeah, I don't know. But I guess we'll see. Yeah, I've wanted to film this, so I did it. Proud of myself, I finished it. And yeah, that is the Oscar movies. Watching the Oscar movies so you don't have to. You're welcome.